It's time to go live. Okay. Hey. Several weeks ago, I taught you techniques on how to interrupt overthinking, how to ask for help, and how to align with your values. And all of those are very important. But I skipped something, and it's about talking about where you're doing it. It's not the work itself that causes you stress. It's who you're doing it with. Does that make sense? Maybe not. But we're going to talk about it in this episode as we talk about how brave women change space and relations to stop the energy drain. And we're going to do that in just one moment. Hi there. Welcome to Stress Talk Live with Marcyline. I am so hot, you all. I've been hot all day. I've been in the house in the air conditioning, but I'm just hot. I'm warm. Yeah, I am hot. I'm hot. But temperature wise, I am hot. Yeah, anyway. Don't mind me. It's the heat. So here's what I'm trying to say. You can be the most mindful, best supported, totally values aligned person in the world. But if you're spending your time in environments that drain you and in relationships that deplete you, you're still going to feel exhausted. And we're going to talk about how you can get rid of those invisible energy drains and what you can do about it. That's our topic for today. And I'm not going to belabor the point because, like I said, I'm drained today. I'm just drained. It's hot. We went out for breakfast this morning at 8 o'clock, and it was 80 degrees. 80 degrees at 8 o'clock, and at 9, it was 90. The heat index was like 110. That's why I've been in the house all day, which is draining to me. I like to get out and work in the garden, but not today because it was too doggone hot. And it's still hot. I'm looking outside. The sun is shining. It's so pretty out, but it's hot as hell. It's hot out there. Okay, I'm not going to spend time talking about the heat. Let's talk about our topic for the day. We are talking about, what did I just do? I just did something crazy. There we go. How brave women change space and relations to stop the energy drain. And I want to talk about this because this is very important. We always think that what we're doing causes a drain on our energy. And when we are working with low energy, we are stressed. Our stress response is kicking in because it feels like, or it thinks, our brain thinks that we're in danger. And so we want to be able to recognize those spaces and recognize those relationships that drain us of our energy. So I'm going to talk about first what the costs are, what the cost of running on empty are, and then I'm going to talk about the hidden drains that you find in the environment. And then I'm going to switch and talk about the hidden drains that we find in our relationships. Okay. And yes, there's going to be a part 2 to this, and I will record it and post it on YouTube. Also, last week's live stream, I've told you that I was going to post to YouTube, the second part on YouTube, and that will drop around 8 or 9 o'clock this evening. Okay. All right. Let's talk about running on empty. What happens when we are in constant overdrive? And if you drive a car, you know that you can get into overdrive in your car, and that means that the engine is working really hard. And and if you continue to drive in overdrive and work that engine quite a bit, it can burn out. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent burnout. So, what are the costs that are associated to when we are running on empty? I'm just checking something for a minute. Okay. What are the costs associated with that? First of all, when we're running on empty and we're in constant overdrive, meaning we're using energy that we don't really have, our physical health suffers. We're functioning under chronic stress. We're experiencing inflammation. Our immune system is suppressed, and we have trouble sleeping. We know that our immune system is suppressed because we catch colds easily. If there's a virus going around in our office space, we may pick it up easily or quickly. If you have small children and they come home from school carrying a bug, you catch what's been going around in their school as well. So when we are running on overdrive and when we are running on empty, we're drained from our energy is drained and our physical health suffers. Also, we have difficulty with mental clarity. We can't think. We can't think clearly. That's because we're in survival mode and our brain, we're stuck back here in the amygdala, which is our survival center. It's where our fight or flight initiates. And so because we're back there and not up here in our prefrontal cortex, where our executive functions take place, we're in a fog. We can't think clearly. We also have problems with our relationships. Why? Because we're not present. We may be physically present, but we're not emotionally or mentally present in our relationships. We're distracted. We're thinking about other things. I'm so warm. I'm so warm. I'm so warm. This is crazy. It's crazy. And yes, I think it's the lighting right now because the air conditioning is working, but I am like burning up and I don't want to take my sweater off because, hey, this is what I look like. So I'm trying to be appropriate. But excuse me, I feel like I'm in church or something. I've just picked up anything I could find to fan with. We are talking about, this live stream is going off the rails. It's going off the rails. I apologize for that. I'm refocusing. All right. So we're running on overdrive and we are hot. We're hot as hell. Okay. The other thing that it costs us our joy when we're running on overdrive because everything that we do is an obligation. Everything that we do is an obligation. We do it because we have to and not because we've chosen to or because we want to. Our creativity suffers because we can't think, right? I apologize. I'm just very warm right now. But I'm going to get through this. Getting through it. Okay. What else suffers? We're not as resilient. I'm trying to be resilient right now and push through. But what happens is our resilience suffers when we're working in overdrive. And we think that pushing through makes us stronger, but it makes us more brittle, easier to snap, like a rubber band, right? You know, I often use rubber bands as an example of resilience. You know, you can stretch and stretch and stretch a rubber band, and then when you let it, you release that stretch, it goes back to its original shape. But a rubber band that's dried out is brittle. And when we are working in overdrive, we're like that brittle rubber band where if you pull it, it just breaks because it's so dry and it's brittle. The other thing that suffers is that we kind of lose touch with ourselves when we're working in overdrive, when we're working on empty, we're running on empty. That is the problem. And that is what we're trying to prevent. And when we are in spaces and when we have relationships that drain us and we're not aware of it, we are often running on empty and running in overdrive. So let's talk about those hidden drains that we find in the environment, in our environment. I have a fan around here somewhere, but I just have to use this for now. Okay, let me share a few questions. Um, when we're in a space, our nervous system is constantly scanning that space. It constantly scans the space. It constantly scans who we're around. Um, and and when I talk about space, I'm talking about the environment. It's not just when I think I've described this before, but the not during this particular segment, but in another live stream. The environment includes everything that's in the environment, everything, the furnishings, the everything, the furnishings, the people, the lighting, the temperature. I'm starting to cool off. The temperature, all of that is included in the environment. And our nervous system scans the environment constantly. It's scanning for threats. So, one of the questions that our brain is trying to, some of the questions that our brain is trying to answer are like, is it safe? Is this a safe space? Is it chaotic? Um, is it loud or is it quiet? Is it organized or is it disorganized? Um, do I feel respected here? That's very key. Can I be myself here in this space? Is there space to breathe? And when we talk about breathing, we're not just talking about the intake and exhalation of air, oxygen that we need to live. We're talking about being able to relax, being able to breathe comfortably so that we're not breathing as if we're in fight or flight. We're not breathing as if we're under threat, where our breathing becomes shallow, but we're able to take very slow, deep breaths, getting a lot of good oxygen into our system. Whatever the brain and our nervous system um, determines from the answers of those questions, then we either tense or we relax. We either are full, our energy is complete and we're full of energy, or we feel drained of energy. So those are questions that our brain answers as it's constantly scanning the environment or the space that we're in. And so when we're in those spaces, and we may not consciously know those answers, or we may not consciously think that our brain is scanning, but it does. And when it does, it will label the space for us. And I'm going to walk through some of the types of environments that we are exposed to at times. The chaotic workspace. That's a workspace it's open, constant interruptions. You don't have control over the noise or the space, and it's very difficult to function. These are spaces that agencies use, like social service agencies use. They're open. You can hear everybody's conversation. These kinds of spaces make you create create an environment that causes your nervous system to constantly be on alert. You're constantly waiting for someone to come and interrupt you. You're constantly looking for someone to talk to you while you're trying to complete a task. You're constantly expecting some unexpected situation to occur. It's no wonder that you're exhausted by the end of the day, because your energy has been draining all of this time in this environment, because you're trying to manage all of those different things. Another space that drains us is a space where we're in a meeting, and it's a hierarchical meeting. And in a meeting, this is a meeting where you have your supervisors or directors who are a part of this meeting. And hello there, Rosanna King. It's good to see you. Glad you're here. Where you have these, your supervisors are there. In these kinds of meetings, you may be expected to perform. You have to appear confident, and you can't just be yourself. You have to manage how you come across to them. This means that you're constantly reading the room, and you're being someone or a part of yourself, but not totally yourself. This can be exhausting as well. And I've been in meetings like that. Yes, I've been in meetings like that. There's also, what happens when you're at home? Your home can be a space that's draining too. Especially when it's cluttered, when things are not in its place, where laundry has piled up, where there's dishes in the sink. Your nervous system is reading that there's unfinished things that need to be done. And you can't relax because there's work to do. There's more work. There's more work to do. So we're talking about spaces that cause us to drain, causes our energy to drain. I've talked about the chaotic workspace, the hierarchical meetings room, the home that's cluttered. What about spaces that you don't belong? You can be in a room full of people, and you're the only. You have a different background, a different perspective, a different identity. You look different than everyone else in the room. And you're constantly monitoring. Your brain constantly monitors, because you're very aware that you stand out just by virtue of who you are, what you look like, what you sound like, because you're different. Those are spaces where it is extremely exhausting, extremely tiring, and it drains your energy very quickly. What about a space that doesn't match your aesthetic? For example, if you're in a space that has fluorescent lights, but you do better in natural lighting, or in a building that is cold and institutional looking, where there are cinder block walls that are painted in not even white, they're painted like a, I don't know, a beige color. And there's no softness, there's no beauty, there aren't any plants. It's just very cold and sterile looking. The nervous system looks at this as hostile, right? And it looks at it as if it's not a warm place to be. So these are environments that are very, very draining. So how can you this week, how can you assess the environments that you're in? First of all, I want you to pay attention. Just pay attention. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to feel as if you have to alter anything, but just pay attention. Which environments make you feel heavier? These are environments where you might feel a drop in your energy. Is it in a particular room? Is it a particular building? Is it in a particular type of space? Which environments make you feel lighter? These are environments where you feel a boost of energy, where you feel as if you can breathe, excuse me, and where you feel like you can be yourself. What environments are you in that make you feel that way, lighter? And then I want you to just think about what's the difference between the two, the environments that make you feel heavier and the environments that make you feel lighter. What's the difference? Is it the noise or the sound? Is it the lighting? Is it the people, the aesthetic? Is it the pace that happens in those spaces? What do you find that causes you to be drained or full of energy? Then I want you to consider what environments are non-negotiable for you. Um, I know you have to be in your home, you have to be in your workplace, but think about it. Which ones are non-negotiable? And how can you make those spaces more inviting and less draining? Okay. So we've talked about the environments that cause hidden drains. Let's talk real quickly about relationships that cause hidden drains. You can tell I've cooled off, right? Because I'm not fanning with the first thing I found. So let's talk about relationships. How do we choose relationships? Here's some questions or some ways that we choose our relationships. We choose relationships based on family obligation. I mean, this is my mom, this is my dad, this is my sister, my cousin, my brother. We are family. We're related in some way. And so essentially, we don't choose them, we are connected to them, right? But it's, yeah, you get it. Also, professional requirement. This is my boss, my supervisor. This is my colleague. This is my coworker. So there may be a professional connection. Longevity. We've been friends for 20 years, right? Or we met when we worked at workplace ABC. So there's longevity, there's a length of time that causes us to be connected to people. Um, Guilt. Sometimes relationships are chosen because of guilt. They need me, or I need them. And there sometimes relationships are chosen because of hope. Maybe if I try harder, this will get better. I'm going to hang in there to see if it does. Okay. The thing about energy, about relationships, is that they can drain us also. And I want to run through this list as well. There's the one directional relationship, and that means that you're always giving. You're the one who's always giving. You listen to their problems, you offer support, you're always showing up for them. But when you need something, you can't find them, they're unavailable. It's not reciprocal. They use you up, but they're not there for you. It is not reciprocal. There's also the person who requires emotional labor. This is the person who is constantly in crisis or constantly negative. Everything they say is negative. There's always complaints. There's always something someone has done to them. There's always something that someone has said to them that they don't like, or that they um, find offensive. These are people who drain you because they are constantly negative, and you feel that you have to make them feel better. Feel you just need to make them feel better. Oops. Here we go. Oh, what about relationships that are built on performance? You have to do something a certain way when you're with this person, and you're constantly working on being enough, proving yourself. That can be exhausting as well. What about the boundary crossing relationship? They're always asking for stuff. They overshare, they're in your business, they disrespect your limits. And when you try to set boundaries, they get hurt or angry. So you don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want anyone angry with you. So you just let them cross the boundary. What about relationships that are competitive or comparative? So instead of feeling supported, you feel like you're being judged, or you recognize that everything is a competition or a comparison. And you feel like you're either trying to prove yourself constantly, or you feel like you have to be on guard, because no matter what you say, what you do, that person is going to either compare or be competitive. They have to do a one up. It's like a one upmanship. What about relationships where you feel obligated? You don't really like them, you don't want to be around them, but you just feel obligated to maintain the relationship. I know that some of us have been in those relationships, but you feel guilty, but you just don't care to be in a friendship or a relationship with them. There's also relationships where you're not safe, physically, emotionally, and mentally. You can't be honest about it, and you can't be vulnerable, and you can't mess up. You have to be perfect, and you're constantly on edge. Those relationships are abusive. Okay. So, what I'd like for you to do this week is try to identify energy draining relationships. Here's some questions that you can ask yourself. Which relationships make you feel heavier? Okay. Like, who do you dread seeing? Who leaves you feeling drained? And which relationships do you avoid if you can? Which relationships make you cause you to feel lighter? Who do you feel genuinely happy to see? Who can you be yourself with? And which relationships leave you feeling full, full of energy, energized. And then what kind of dynamic is occurring in those relationships? Is it one dimensional? Are you performing? Are you managing their emotions? Are you walking on eggshells? Are you comparing yourself? Are they comparing themselves to you? And or are you feeling obligated? What's the dynamic in those relationships? Also ask, what are you getting from the draining relationships? How do you benefit? How is it good for you? Sometimes we stay in these relationships that are draining for a reason, because they're familiar, because we feel secure, because we're afraid of being alone. We might feel obligated. We might feel guilt. What keeps you in a relationship that is draining? And then finally, which relationships are non-negotiable and which ones are choices? I mean, we are with our family. We can't really leave our family, right? Can't leave our workplace. We could, but we have to work. So, which ones are you choosing? I don't want you to fix anything. I just want you to observe. Just observe. Whew, wow. Okay. So I am going to record for you what to do. What to do about these energy drainers, the things, the environments that drain your energy, the relationships that drain your energy. We've been talking about how brave women change space and relations to stop the energy drain. We talked about running on empty, the cost of being in constant overdrive. We also talked about hidden drains, how the environment drains us without our being fully aware, and also relationships that drain us without our full awareness. I'm going to record what to do about it and how to go about slowing the draining process, or at least finding a way to re energize yourself within these hidden drains. Oh, thank you for being so patient with me today as I was struggling with the heat. It's starting to cool off. It's starting to cool off finally. I've been hot all day, but it's starting to cool off. You all be safe out there, because I think a lot of us are in spaces where we're under heat advisories. Drink lots and lots of water. Stay hydrated. Stay out of the sun because the UV is very high. You can easily burn. So take good care. I'll see you next time. I'm Marcyline Bailey. That's all for now. It's a wrap.